Maria Santos was wiping down the marble floors of the luxurious Metropolitan Hotel when her phone rang. She recognized the number immediately, her graduate school in Paris. After countless rejections for her international business program, this call could change everything. She answered. "Hello, Maria. This is Professor Leclerc from the École de Commerce. We have reviewed your application again, and we'd like to offer you a place in the program." Maria froze. Her heart raced. She had dreamed of this moment for years, and now it was finally happening. But before she could respond, a sharp noise echoed through the lobby. A guest, a tall man in a dark suit, was yelling at a hotel employee. Maria instinctively stepped closer, curious. "Why is my room not ready? I booked weeks ago," the man demanded, his voice booming. The young maid, a black woman with impeccable posture and calm eyes, looked at him silently for a moment. Then, with a voice clear and precise, she replied in fluent French. "Sir, your room is being prepared and you will be accommodated shortly. Please wait." The man froze. His jaw dropped. Maria could see it, the complete shock in his eyes. He had expected obedience, maybe even fear, but certainly not this confidence. He glanced at the hotel manager standing nearby, who looked equally stunned. Maria whispered to herself, "Did you hear that?" The man straightened his tie, attempting to regain control. "I don't care about waiting. I demand immediate service." The maid's gaze didn't waver. "I am doing my job to the best of my ability, sir. Please have patience. Everything will be ready soon." A tension hung in the air, thick enough to touch. Other guests had stopped in the lobby, sensing something extraordinary was happening. Some even pulled out their phones, recording the interaction. Maria felt a strange mixture of fear and admiration. The maid was unshakable, her professionalism radiating like a shield. The man's frustration only grew. He turned to the manager and snapped, "Do something about this." The manager, clearly taken aback, could only shake his head. "Sir, she is following protocol. There's nothing more we can do right now," he stammered. Maria's mind raced. She had never witnessed such calm assertiveness. It reminded her of the resilience she needed in her own life. And suddenly, she realized she wasn't just watching a confrontation, she was witnessing courage. The man's eyes darted around the lobby, desperate for support. But everyone remained silent, captivated by the unexpected power in the maid's demeanor. Then, almost in slow motion, she added, "If you prefer, sir, I can personally ensure that your room is ready within the next 5 minutes." His face went pale. Maria couldn't help but smirk slightly. This was not how hotel confrontations were supposed to go. Hours later, Maria sat at the hotel cafe, replaying the scene in her head. The woman's calm authority, the man's disbelief, it all felt like a lesson on silent strength. But what struck Maria most was the quiet confidence that came from knowing your worth. Meanwhile, the man who had yelled earlier had become a minor spectacle throughout the hotel. Staff whispered about his antics, and guests exchanged amused glances whenever he walked past. He had underestimated the power of poise and patience. Maria's phone buzzed again, another message from her graduate program, but she barely noticed. She was still absorbed in the lesson she had just witnessed. That respect is earned, not demanded, and real strength lies in composure under pressure. The maid walked past her table, carrying a tray of drinks. Maria hesitated, then spoke. "Excuse me, that was incredible. I've never seen anyone handle a situation like that." The maid smiled faintly, acknowledging Maria's words without breaking stride. "Thank you. It's all about keeping calm and remembering that anger never solves anything." Maria nodded, realizing this was a lesson far beyond any classroom she had attended. The next day, the man attempted a more aggressive approach. He stormed into the lobby, clearly intending to humiliate the maid in front of everyone, but she was ready. She met his gaze, unwavering, and spoke in that same calm, controlled tone. "Sir, your actions are not appropriate. Please follow the hotel guidelines." The man's rage boiled over. He tried to raise his voice, but something had changed this time. Guests weren't watching silently. They murmured disapproval, some even recording, ready to share. Maria watched, heart pounding, as the situation escalated. But the maid's composure never faltered. Slowly, the man's energy began to crumble. His intimidation tactics, once so effective, had no impact here. Finally, with a subtle sigh, he stormed out, leaving the lobby in stunned silence. Maria realized she had witnessed something extraordinary, not just professionalism, but the quiet triumph of dignity over aggression. By the time Maria left the hotel that evening, the encounter had left a deep mark on her. It wasn't about a room, or a phone call, or even a man's arrogance. It was about courage, poise, and the unexpected power of speaking calmly in the face of chaos. As she walked down the streets of the city, her mind returned to her own dreams. If a single act of composure could shift the balance of power in a hotel lobby, what could she achieve with her own persistence and determination? Maria smiled, clutching the acceptance letter from her graduate school. Life had a way of teaching lessons when you least expected them. And sometimes, the most powerful lessons came from the quietest voices, standing tall in a world that underestimated them.